Jonathan Allen, welcome back to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. I hope you're doing well, man.
What's going on? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good, absolutely. And, we're talking about Nick Saban, and we're going to make you a part of the conversation. We want to talk about what Jonathan Allen's doing in the NFL, but we were just talking about, Nick Saban at the age of 65 and the motivation that he gets up and works these 14 and 15-hour days in June. What do you think motivates Nick Saban to do what he does, work this hard during the offseason to build this championship program? What motivates Nick Saban? You know him better than anybody.
I'll say winning motivates him. I mean, that's why he coaches. That's why he plays the game, and that's why I believe he'll play the game until he dies. I mean, I'm just being honest. Nothing will make that man happy except winning another national championship.
Now, hold on a minute. Now you got me going now, Jonathan. All right, so you think Nick Saban will coach – you think there's plenty of more years left in the tank?
If I had to guess, he's 64. I'll probably say at least at a minimum of eight or nine more years. Probably 2 to 3 national championships in that year span, if not more.
I mean, Jonathan, what are you trying to do, man? You trying to make this fan base go crazy here in Tuscaloosa? I mean, you might look at Tuscaloosa, they may be partying in the streets for what you're saying here to us.
I mean, if you're a fan of Alabama, you see how it goes. Coach Saban's going to be here until he's forced to stop playing or stop coaching. And as long as Alabama has Coach Saban, they're going to be a contender every year.
Jonathan, let me ask you, and I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I think we're watching one of the greatest dynasties in college football history. I think we're watching, probably the greatest coach to ever walk the sidelines. Did you ever reflect on that you're part of something so special in Tuscaloosa? Did that ever? I mean, has it hit you that you've played in one of the greatest dynasties we've ever seen?
I think about it now more now that I'm not a part of it. But once you're going through it, you really don't have time to reflect because, I mean, we're always getting better. We're always training. If you're not getting better, you're going to get replaced by the next guy. So when you're going through it, you don't really think about it as much. But when you leave it's amazing. It's pretty cool.
How did Alabama help you prepare to make that transition to the NFL?
I'd say from a mental aspect, they really prepared me as to how to be a pro on and off the field, how to handle adversity, how to trust the process and just get better every day and just really just have that pro-like mentality.
Jonathan, was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday harder than Saturday afternoon?
Yeah. By far the hardest thing I've done while at college, the Tuesday and Wednesday practice. The Saturdays were the easy day, the fun days. Okay.
I mean, going up against the five-star talent, when you think about the talent that you're going up against daily, I mean, the grind, the physical style of play, because, Jonathan, many folks may or may not know this, Alabama's one of those that, man, you go out on that practice field, I mean, there is some major contact. It's not even though, you can label it whatever, man, you guys get physical out there on Tuesday, Wednesday, which is very uncommon around college football. They're taking it easy, not in Tuscaloosa.
We feel like if we have harder practices, the games will be easier. So that's something Coach Saban honestly truly believes, and we live by here at Alabama. So, I mean, there's no way to get around the good days of hard work, and that's something we pride ourselves in every day.
What's the one memory that stands out to you when you look back at your playing days here at Alabama?
Probably, I'd say winning the national championship. I mean, you can't beat that. That's why we all go to college, to play the game, to possibly move on to the next level. But, I mean, you want to win a national championship. So to actually win one and be a part of two, I mean, there's nothing more special than that.
What's it like having Ryan Anderson to go along in the process as you enter into the NFL and having a friend and a buddy that close with Ryan Anderson, someone that I know you had a great chemistry here at Alabama with? What's it like going through that process with Ryan Anderson?
It's fun. It's fun having a familiar face, especially a guy from Alabama. We also have Ari Quandrell here.
Sure.
So they understand, the grind of how Alabama was, and I'll explain it to some guys, and they think it's crazy what we went through, but you can definitely see it personify itself when you get to the next level. I mean, you see that same thing you've seen at college in the guys who played at Alabama. So, I mean, it's been great. I haven't had too much contact with them just because we played different positions and I'm with my position group. But, I mean, off the field, it's great having a familiar face around.
Jonathan, let me ask you about Scott Cochran. It's somebody that certainly he gets enough credit, but I'm not sure if he gets enough credit, if you know what I mean. I mean, Scott Cochran is one of those guys when it's 104 outside and he goes screaming through the practice and he gets you guys motivated. I mean, it feels like just he's that sort of set the tone. Am I correct about that with Scott Cochran?
Scott Cochran, besides Coach Saban, is the most important figure at Alabama. He's the guy who spends the most of the time with the players when the coaches aren't there. So, I mean, he's the one who makes the process and the transformation happen to the guys' body and training and eating. I mean, it's just you got to give Coach Coch a lot of credit for what he does.
Jonathan, how would you rank the rivals in Alabama is from a player perspective? Is it Auburn that's the biggest rival? Is it LSU? Is it Tennessee? I mean, I'm just talking about current day. How would you rank the rivals on Alabama's schedule?
I would say Ole Miss. For me personally, Ole Miss is number one by far.
Really?
After that, yeah.
Why? I'm just curious. I mean, now you got me. What is Ole Miss? I'm just curious.
They beat us twice.
Okay.
I mean, no more to say to that. I mean, you definitely don't like losing, especially in Tuscaloosa. So, for me, that was the biggest rivalry.
Okay. Now, who's 2 and 3?
After that, I'll give it a tie between LSU and Auburn.
But that LSU game is so physical. It's a dogfight when you go out there and you talking about guys just teeing off on one another. I mean, I've looked up in the sky and said, "Good Lord, thank you for not allowing me to be a football player on days like LSU Day."
I mean, LSU prides themselves on being physical, and obviously so do we. But we have a philosophy that you're not going to beat Alabama playing our type of football. So, I mean, we look forward to games like that, and we cherish them because they don't come very often. But when they do come, you got to take advantage of them. And we've had a tremendous amount of success against LSU the last many seasons. So we're looking forward to continuing that. And I mean, it's probably the funniest game on the schedule.
Let me ask you about that draft night. When you look at your team, the Washington Redskins, drafting Jonathan Allen, what was that feeling like when you really get that phone call and you realize the dream has come true?
It was a moment of relief for a second, but then after that, my mind switched to I'm ready to get to work now. I'm ready to start the next chapter of my career and ready to prove I belong at the next level.
What's been the first purchase,
First purchase, my fiance's engagement ring.
That's a good purchase, man. That's a good purchase. I mean, and what a week that you had. You're talking about getting engaged. I mean, going to the NFL. I mean, life is good for Jonathan Allen.
It is, but it's definitely not from a football aspect where I want to be yet. So I still have a lot of work to do right now.
How often do you catch yourself saying things that remind you of Coach Saban?
Probably every day. I mean, just going through tough times or difficult situations, or honestly just talking to other players, I definitely quote a lot of Coach Saban quotes.
What's your favorite?
If you want something, you don't focus on what you want. You have to focus on what you have to do to get what you want.
Jonathan, when you look at winning a national title, that's the expectation that you guys have created. Let me ask you, when you look at the expectation of winning a national title here at Alabama every single year, it's like the monster that you guys have created. Did that pressure ever get to you that it was a national championship or bust type team here in Tuscaloosa?
Not at all. We feel like we put more pressure on ourselves than anybody else can put on us. And if you come to practice every day and see the amount of talent and the amount of coaching we have, I'm going to be honest with you. I only feel there's one game in my college career where I felt like we should have lost that game, and that was my freshman year to Oklahoma. Every other game we lost, I felt like we should have won that game handily. But then it comes down to intangibles and which team wants them more. And like Coach Pruitt said, the team on Saturday that wins isn't always a better team. It's the team that wants them more. So the games we didn't win, teams wanted it more than us. But for the most part, I feel like there's only really one game I felt like we just got outplayed and out-schemed, and we should have lost that game.
Jonathan, who's next, man? You talking about leaders off that defensive side of the football, man. There's a ton of you guys that are missing now. Who's next? Who's going to step up in that leadership void at Alabama?
I feel like it's a leadership by committee. You got Minka Fitzpatrick, Ronnie Harrison, Deion Hamilton. One guy a lot of people need to watch out for is Deron Payne up the middle, and him and Deshaun Hand. So I feel like the defense this year could rival the defense we had last year, and I truly believe that.
Wow. I mean, you think about a historic defense of last year. It's simply amazing. The game of college football is changing where we favor the offensive side of the football. For you guys to go out and did what you did there on the defensive side of the football. So you're thinking this defense can come close to what you guys were able to do last year?
I would be disappointed if they didn't. I'm just being honest.
Passing the torch to that next defense. Let me ask you about Jeremy Pruitt as my final question. When you look at Jeremy Pruitt, talk about what he means to that side of the football and the way that he's able to get you guys so prepared to go out in the big challenges.
You know, Jeremy Pruitt is he's a great coach. I mean, words can't really describe how we feel about him. I mean, if you ask guys who played with him across the board from all the schools he's been at, I mean, they'd easily say he's one of the best to do it. So he's definitely a key component, a great add-on to the Alabama staff, and he's really just another guy who people can follow, and he's a great leader and mentor and really just helps get us going on Saturday.